By far, this is the best story in Batman slash Arkham video games since, well, the beginning. Batman Arkham Asylum way back into. Quite a few games have been released since then. None of them, however, rival the writing, the complex storytelling, the intertwining different narratives. There's a lot happening here. And considering they are four different type of characters to play with, the voice acting is quite a lot. It goes on for hours and hours.
Relax, Dick. We got this.
Both in cutscenes and outside, there's a relationship bonding between these four characters, and by the end, well, I'm not gonna spoil it. There's so much happening in terms of storytelling. A couple of unexpected twists and turns, WTF moments that you just didn't see coming, especially if you don't know much about what's happened in previous video games or any of the background lore. I'm a bit new to this myself. One thing is certain, and by now it's not a spoiler for anyone. Batman is dead.
If you're watching this, I'm dead.
And that's a good thing, because none of it would have been possible if it would have been any different. You can't play a game like this with Batman being alive. It's convenient for the plot that he's dead, since we all have probably wanted to play the main character as Batman, and everything revolves around Bruce Wayne. It's just as simple as that. With Bruce out of the picture, now these four characters have time to shine. They develop right under your nose. It's unexpected, a bit confusing. They are grieving, there's anger, but even joyful moments. Plot twists quite a few, and most importantly, the sense that all four characters are important. Yeah, you play with whichever you choose, but the other ones also have a very important role. 50% of the entire cutscenes and NPC interactions in the entire game are going to be different depending on what character you play with. It doesn't force you to play the game 4 times, because not a lot of people have that type of time on their hands, but the choice is yours, and for a good reason. Like half of all the interactions can be different, will present themselves in different cutscenes. I mean, that's a lot. So much content if you think about it. If you need any justification for the cash you're spending. Honestly, I haven't seen diversity like this before. I know it's gonna sound a bit far-fetched or exaggerated, but I am dead serious. From a storytelling point of view and multiplayer integration, it's almost a unique moment in video gaming. Gotham Knights is going to be the pillar of what it is to come from now on. And 20 years from now on, no one is going to remember my video, that's for sure, but we will look back at JK as that one game that did it first. I mean, that's a big deal.
Many of you knew Bruce from Gotham's celebrity pages. A handsome, charming billionaire. And he was that. Bruce was Gotham.
We haven't seen storytelling with ramifications in 4 different paths, playable all the way, and in multiplayer. This is different. When it comes to performance, but should I say functionability, everything mentioned above would be very much possible if you can actually play it. Because unfortunately, people like me are struggling. System requirements are not this important for this game. Yeah, I feel like this is the most demanding game I've played for years. Cyberpunk performance was scary, like legit scary. Those frames were everywhere. But it worked. It really did. This isn't about performance at this point. I mean, can you hold 60 frames? Do you have dips or not? Nah, it's about the game constantly crashing. And behold, people from all over the place, from Steam to Reddit forums, with different hardware complaining about the same exact thing. This one, it's actually the most common error, and apparently it happens on the majority of AMD graphics cards. Even though I read on Steam, some people in NVIDIA also suffer from crashes. Running around with your motorcycle and dropping frames? That's not an issue, no. Crashing to desktop when you are in the middle of a mission, having to constantly start all over again, that's a huge problem. And it renders the game unplayable. This isn't performance. No, it's about functionability. Can it run or not? And in the moment I'm making this video, simply put, it doesn't function well. Regardless of settings, resolution, etc. I try to troubleshoot by myself. It's going to crash. It's just a matter of time. It just does. Guys, I mean, fellow gamers, I do have subscribers, a couple of you, and I love the fact that you've been around on my videos. But I'm telling you, I struggled to play this video game. Literally struggled, and it got to the point where it wasn't fun. I had to lower the level of difficulty because the game could crash at any moment and I will have to grind the same level over and over again. And playing with a low level of difficulty wasn't fun. It felt like it wasn't enough of a challenge, but within 2 minutes the game would have crashed and I would have to start grinding that area again. All right, I hear you. Let's say that you're not going to have crashes, good for you, but you will have bugs. Yeah, quests that simply don't work. Like for example, when you finish a mission and the game lets you have the same objectives in the same position. Basically, you immediately understand you need to do it again. You're confused like we were. What happens is that it didn't record the progress. You need to go back, kill the bad guys, talk to the NPC, get the cutscene, skip the cutscene, exit the area, and then maybe you'll be able to continue. This has happened to me in the mission when you first encounter Penguin. Not fun. It's almost, I mean, what do I know, right? But it almost feels like they put this game together without any game testers. Disappointing. Sure, something has to be good, right? And sound and photo mode is exquisite. It's the most complex photo mode I've seen in any video game, bar none. Better than God of War, which was a bit mediocre, better than Horizon Zero Dawn, which was great, better than Plague Tale Requiem, which came out about 2 weeks ago, and it's fantastic. It's better than any of them. You can choose poses, facial expression, lens type. You can do whatever you want with that camera. Lighting position for lighting keys, different, up to 3 of them that you can position whichever way you like, each affecting the outcome of the final image. Photo mode is 10 out of 10. And I know you're not going to play this for photo mode, but you are going to play this to show it off to your friends. You are going to play it to show it to a friend. And it's very good, and it creates memories if you ask me. And so does the sound. If you have like a very strong system, home cinema, or one of those gaming systems like Creative Katana, it's going to sound amazing, so go ahead. If not, headphones. I absolutely recommend headphones. The sound stage is wide, there's a lot of variety, and it's just fantastic. There's a lot of small details, like for example, when you're riding your bike on cobblestone, it changes the way it sounds and you can almost feel the vibration from those tires. You hear the voices of the civilians when you're on the street passing them by. The bustle of the city when you're high up next to a skyscraper. The sound changes is everywhere around you and is fantastic. You can even feel the difference if you're playing with a friend, the grappling hook that zooms by your ear when your friend is jumping into the action. Sound immersion is great. Most battle royales that I've played doesn't have sound this good. You gotta try it to understand it. I cannot show you. What about what you do in this game and what the heck, what's all the hubbub, right? The main idea of the gameplay is very simple. I think I can narrow it down into three aspects. You have quests, all offering storytelling and cutscenes. All of them require you to exit Free Realm and enter loading screen into an interior. Fight the bad guys, gives you a bonus objectives if you want to do it or not. You get to don't trigger an alarm or don't get spotted, perform takedowns, etc. You finish, you get the cutscene, you exit. B is the free roam, right? Because it's an open world. It's in the city of Gotham, you get it. You're on the map and you find infinite amount of crime happening in the city. I'm not kidding, it's infinite. Depending on the side objectives, you will have to go after a certain crime faction, as there are, I believe, 4 different factions in total in game. They're non-stop. All of them offer very little experience and loot. Running around the city constantly, stopping a bank robbery or defusing bombs can get old very fast. And yes, there's a ton of collectibles to be found, from batarangs to pieces of the puzzle that tell the story. Put it all together. Those are great. You also have fast travels that you can unlock to make the game less tedious. That's a bonus. Unfortunately, the fast travel missions are also a bit bugged. When you're trying to scan the drones, not always is going to work, and you're going to have to reload the game, pop back in. Yeah, like I said, bugs. Pretty much everything stays the same except for one single thing that does indeed change. One thing does change, since this is an action RPG type. Yeah, you guessed it, it's the level. The player level and the gear level that comes along with it. In free roam on the map, level up is a bit useless. The enemies will constantly have the same exact level as you. You are never overpowered. The challenge of defeating bad guys your own size will always be there. Depending how you look at it, it can be a good thing or a bad thing. Level up, however, for main story missions, that's an advantage. All the missions have a specific level requirement that is fixed, meaning that you can grind level up on the map and tackle mission scenarios that are below you. This resulting mostly in killing bosses in 4 hits. Is it fun? No. Is it an option? Yeah. And since this is an RPG almost kinda ish, farming, on the other hand, in Gotham Knights is either pointless or not possible at all. Trust me, I have tried. If you enter a mission again in co-op trying to redo it, the boxes for looting are already opened, so it won't let you. The game is built in a way that it won't allow you to farm story missions. That's, for me, a very good thing. The only type of farming can be done on the main map, killing bad guys in an infinite way and getting their loot. However, the experience and the loot quality is minor compared to what you get in the stories, making it all a bit pointless. Not to mention boring, as farming usually is. Yeah, I'm talking to you, all you MMORPG players. Finding a system to combat the effects of grinding and farming by these developers is a welcome addition, something that others should probably consider. For this, I give them a solid thumbs up. You have also plenty of cosmetics that also kind of leads into the whole gameplay situation. Those cosmetics are incredibly hard to unlock. I did put a lot of hours into this game so far. I don't have many unlockables yet. I've done pretty much everything that the game thrown at me. I think I've unlocked 2 different colors for my bikes and 4 different suits in 2 different colors. There's a ton of things that need to be unlocked. None of it is hidden behind a paywall, which is great, but the unlocking can be a pain in the ass. And all that fighting, guess what? It's time to talk about the combat, which unfortunately, again, for me, you're going to ask, how's the combat? Because that's all you're going to be doing for the entire duration of the game, right? Well, no, it's not the entire duration of the game, because there's also clues to be inspected, areas to be scanned, skyscrapers to be climbed, and literally, not even joking, more than 10 hours of cutscenes, all of them put together. And also riding your bike and doing challenges with your bike. That's fun. But I digress. We're here to talk about the combat, which is not that fun. I wouldn't say it's bad, but yeah, a lot of reviewers have been complaining about the combat, and I just don't think it's a good one. It's bad, but there's no way to kind of blame it all on a combat system. It's much more than that. It's the actual character movement. Man, it's not like in the other video games that you get to play. The character movement is janky and it's constantly magneting itself to different positions that are strange and weird, and it's hard to maneuver that character. It's almost janky. I'm playing it on a keyboard and mouse on my PC, as I guess some of us might. Vaulting obstacles is very, very difficult. You need to press shift plus direction, which would be W. 90% of the time, it doesn't work. The character will trigger sprint movement side to the object that you need to be vaulting. Somehow you need to stop, position, press shift plus W, and it will vault in the heat of battle. That's never ever worked. Not one single time. Thus, vaulting for me does not work. Don't worry about it, because there's clunky, broken mechanics that kind of pop up in combat as well. I mean, I wish you good luck in targeting when you have to face your character in the right direction. A lot of times you're just going to press the button and hopefully it goes well. And when there's a boss fight, well, that's when things get serious. You need a ranged character. Yeah, you don't have a ranged character to perform counter hits from stopping the boss from hitting you from a distance. Your life is going to suck. There's moments when the dodge button alone simply it's not enough. I mean, it does the dodge animation, which is very small and meager because of the area of the impact when you are in a boss fight is so huge and underwhelming. It's difficult, almost impossible at times to avoid getting hit. Just like that. And again, when you need to interrupt the boss, if you have a character like mine, you need to be right next to it to do that. If not, it's gonna hit you. There's also a momentum sort of thing, hits situation by pressing the left click on the mouse at the right moment. I have no idea how that works, even though I did the tutorial, period. You just spam the button. How does the game look? What about the eye candy? Well, I mean, what about it? Because there's almost none as far as I'm concerned. I think the images that you see on the internet posted are slightly modified and presented in such way to look desirable and appealing. I mean, most games kind of have that effect, only judging by the pictures. However, I have roamed across the entire map. The fact that everything happens at night, it's supposed to give you a sense of immersion into the world of Batman universe, just like the animated series. But this is not for everybody. Certainly, it wasn't for me. I think it's a matter of taste. The buildings, while there's plenty of them, don't really impress. The alleyways look exactly the same. The entire urban jungle built here that I found, most of it to be empty. And it's just sad and a bit convenient to the plot at the same time that everywhere you go, somebody is constantly screaming for help, begging you to save them as a vigilante. This city constantly needs saving. That being said, I think the graphics are fine, maybe mediocre, but not something spectacular, not something that I would say, wow, not even by a long shot. So the question is, why the performance is so horrible? I just don't understand. I've seen better, I've played better. This isn't it. And here we are, talking finally about co-op. This is the silver lining. As my thoughts on this video game are coming to an end, I started what is a positive thing, beyond positive. Storytelling is great. And I guess it's just about right to finish with the number one thing for me in this video game. Cooperative, also known short as co-op. There's no video game since videos have come out when in the 70s, I believe, and those weren't really video games, but you know what I mean. There's nothing that does co-op in open world like this. That's because there's almost no such thing as an open world with co-op integration. The very best ones are from the recent games Far Cry. But Gotham Knights co-op takes everything to a whole new level. And if you heard good things about the co-op in this game, it's not enough. Because whatever it is, it's better. It's greater. It's awesome. The co-op system is very, very good. With integration to play with or just with friends of your friends. Yeah, that setting actually exists. Or of course in public matches when anyone can join you. You have microphone, you have typing, whatever you like. Most importantly, with integration from the entire map, your friend or you can go whatever you want, do whatever you like, and it's not going to get desynchronized. Cutscenes in storytelling with a friend by your side. That's exactly how co-op should be. Playing a game in such way will give you opportunity to see the story from your friend's character's perspective, which is huge. It really is. All of a sudden, it's not your story, it's your friend's story. And again, the NPCs will tell them different things, interact in different ways. It's awesome, and you get to witness it. You can perform co-op takedowns together when it comes to fighting. You can perform synchronized hits. And honestly, I played this 90% in co-op. Were a couple of moments when I was by myself. Level design and how the missions were made. The entire game feels like it was built from ground up to play it with a friend. If you want to interrogate a bad guy on a street, because that's the secondary objective, having a friend with you is going to make it much, much more easier. If you're on the main mission, having a friend with you that can offer buffs, for example, extra damage, or hack and disable alarms, it's a huge bonus. Gotham Knights is a game for two, not for one. Everything is better when you do it together. One single flaw I found with this system, you can't trade items, but you can see each other's level and power stats. You can go to the safe house together, witness each other's cutscenes, like I said, interact with NPCs and witness their reaction towards your friend's character in different way they would have done for you. No game has done storytelling and cooperative like this. This is a first. And it all stops the moment it crashes to desktop.